What's up, guys? It's the JTMB Report here, back with my 8th ranked team in my 2018 through 2019 NBA season preview. My 8th ranked team is the Utah Jazz. So this is another team that, like the Pacers, where if you would have told me last offseason that they would be a top 10 team the following year, I would have thought you were crazy because they lost Gordon Hayward and they drafted a guy who seemed decent but not great in Donovan Mitchell. But boy, were everybody who said that wrong about him. Because Donovan Mitchell, I believe, give it 2 or 3 years, will be a top 10 player, if not a top 5 player. Because this guy just has the killer instinct that you need to win. And he is the future of this team. And I'm very excited to see what happens with this Jazz team. You know, they upset the Thunder last year. And they really had a great offseason. They didn't really do much, but they had a great offseason. And I'm just really excited to see the future of this Utah Jazz because they just have limitless potential. And if they maybe get one more player, if they hit on one more player, they could win it all depending on how much stardom Donovan Mitchell gets. Because Donovan Mitchell could be, again, anywhere from a top 10 player to a top 5 player. And those players like that are just incredibly important in today's NBA. So looking at what they did in the offseason, we'll just get Jonas Jerebko out of the way. He was their only subtraction. They waived him. He's on the Warriors now. It's not too much of a loss. He was decent for him, but nothing special. Looking at what they added, the only guy they really added was from the draft. That was Grayson Allen. Now, I thought this pick at first was a little odd because Grayson Allen, everybody thought he had character issues. You know, everybody thought that he had issues that would make him not go in the first round. But you know what the Utah Jazz saw? They saw a guy who has the skills to help them right now. They didn't see a project. They didn't see, down the road potential problems. They saw a guy who can shoot, who can play make, who can do stuff that will help them in the playoffs right now. And that was a very smart move by them because I think he will come off the bench for Donovan Mitchell, be able to play make, be able to do all that kind of stuff, and he's going to help them out exponentially. So a great pickup for the Jazz. Then they re-signed everybody in the offseason. Starting off with Derrick Favors. He was the guy that they got back for Darren Williams way, way back in the day. And while he hasn't really turned into a star, he's turned into a very, very valuable piece. He's good in the low post, he's decent on defense, and he's great on offense. And with this team that has some interesting parts around them, he is a surefire thing that if you need offense, you can go to him. So very great pickup for him. They also re-signed Dante Exum, who's been injury-prone the past couple years. But I don't really think that's a big deal because Dante Exum still has potential. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. In the event Ricky Rubio decides to leave down the line, he'll be a guy who can fill that role. Also re-signed Raul Neto, a guy who can shoot well. He's a decent playmaker, but his main calling card is shooting. So they decided to keep him instead of trying to find another a third-string point guard to kind of replace him with. So again, overall, a great offseason for them. They didn't really lose much of value, but they kept all their valuable players, which that's great. You can't ask for anything better than that. So looking at their starting lineup, it's pretty much the same as last year. We have Ricky Rubio, who really had a career revitalization last year after being in Minnesota and kind of being written off as a subpar point guard. He really showed that he can be a good playmaker when you surround him with talent. And point guards like that, who kind of had the Steve Nash mold, except Rubio can't shoot, he's a very valuable player for this team. And then Donovan Mitchell, of course, the rookie sensation, Spider-Man. He's going to kill it again this year. He's going to be great. Joe Ingles, who is very valuable for them. He's a great defensive player. He's a 3-and-D player, and he's extremely valuable to them. Then Derrick Favors, and of course, the defensive anchor, Rudy Gobert. And then off the bench, Jay Crowder, who they acquired at the NBA trading deadline. He's going to be great for him again. He really stepped up after having a subpar time in Cleveland, but I think he'll be fantastic for the Utah Jazz once again this coming year. Then, of course, Raul Neto, Thabo Sefolosha, who they decided to keep, which I think was also, again, kind of a ploy just to hurt the Houston Rockets, because the Houston Rockets just have not had a good offseason at all. They lost both their small forwards, and the other small forwards who they wanted, which was Wilson Chandler and Thabo, they all got signed or traded. Or, well, none of them got signed. Thabo got kept by the Utah Jazz. They decided not to waive him. And then Wilson Chandler got traded to the 76ers. So they did manage to sign James Ennis, but we'll get to that when we get to the Houston Rockets a little bit down the road. And then, of course, Grayson Allen. I think he will play for him just because he is an offensive beast in terms of being able to do anything you would want on the offensive end. And if they can hold him in on defense, he'll just become a great, valuable player for them. And then Dante Exum, they'll probably give him some time just because they want to see what he can become. So the thing that I'm going to say to look out for this Jazz team is Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell. I think that this year, Donovan Mitchell has the chance of making the All-Star team. I think this might be a year where we have a Kyrie Irving type of situation where he'll play in the rookie game, the World game, as it's called now, World versus USA. And then he'll play in the All-Star team just because I think Donovan Mitchell is that skilled. And I'm looking forward to see how far he can take them in the NBA playoffs this year. I hope they can. I know they'll make it to the second round, I believe, depending on who they play. If they play who I'm projecting they're going to play against, then they might could take it to a Game 7. But it really depends on how the next team in the West meshes, because it's a whole new experiment, which that might have given it away. It might not have, but we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, guys, it's been the JTNBA Report, back with my 8th ranked team, the Utah Jazz. Next time we'll be moving on to my 7th ranked team. I'll see you guys then.